every morning at 5 a.m. While the world sleeps, life teaches its most profound lessons on a simple running space or road in my neighborhood. I'm going to share my thoughts on something I have learned over the past few months at dawn. Join me in the video. So 5 a.m. And I mean 5 a.m. Sometimes I stand by my gate with my timer waiting for exactly 5 a.m. Then I take my first step. So 5 a.m. exactly. Then I get onto the main road. And then I start my morning run, jogging. Quiet. There is clarity. No vehicle by that time. One or two will be coming. And more often than not, in my part of the world, 5 a.m. is still a bit dark. Right? The only things you don't want is to run into some stray dogs in the neighborhood. But it's quiet. Clarity. The weather itself at that time is a bit, cool, and it's fresher because the vehicles haven't come with their exhaust fumes and all that. So that's the scene. And while running, I get to run with myself alone. I don't go with anybody. So there is that, you and yourself alone trying to, think through what the day is going to be like and all that. Then this will take, and it's an hour's run. It's an hour's run. So by the time you get to certain locations, you realize that it's maybe 15 minutes past 5. Some people have started coming onto the road as well. Some are joining. So by the time you come all around 6 a.m., some have really started their day. Some are also jogging and all that. And this is common. And I know as you're listening to me, if you're someone who has chanced upon this, you know what I'm saying, that early morning, a lot of people do their workout. And it's good. Love it. I love it. I don't call myself a fitness buff, but hey, I do my best. I love that physical activity. However, 3 days ago, when I was done with the running, the jogging side, and I was doing the brisk walking, I turned and got to part of the track, if I could say it. But actually, it's one of the roads in my neighborhood. And I realized that there were so many people who were also on the tracks. But this is what I realized. That right in front of me that day was life teaching me a lesson. Oh, and I still recall the lessons I got that day as I walked briskly back to base. First of all, there are some days that I get on the road, and from 5 a.m. all the way to 6 a.m. when I come back, I'm the only one. I realize that happens a lot during the weekends, like Sunday mornings. Not Saturday. Saturday, people wake up early and there's a lot of running. But Sunday mornings, I've realized that. Sunday morning, sometimes I'm all alone. And then there are days when I'm running with others. Such is life. There are days when you'll be alone. There are days when you'll be with others. There are days when you would have to go it alone. There are days when you meet others on the road. But you must be clear in your mind. You're not going to return because when you hit the road, no one was on the road. Their agenda has nothing to do with yours. You must have your agenda, and you must decide that, yes, I'm on this road alone, and I'm going it alone. As a matter of fact, success can sometimes feel very isolating. You want to learn a skill set that will make you a better person in your area of work. There are times when you must stay after work to learn. Who joins you? Nobody. If they don't have to learn, why would they join you? They go home. But you must stay. Recently, I was going through the biography of one of the world's great midfielders, footballers. One of the fantastic ones, known for his free kicks. And one of the things that touched me so much was we are told that after training, he stays behind and works on his free kicks. No one there. As a matter of fact, the story said that the groundsmen of that football team didn't really like him too much because they needed to close the grounds, lock up, and go home. But this guy will still be training whilst everybody's gone home. He's just working on his free kicks. Alone. Sometimes you must go it alone. Sometimes you'll be alone. I mean, this morning I went for the greater part, I think I saw only 3 people on the road. And we're recording this thing on a Tuesday, I think so. Yes. So there are days you will go alone. There are days you must go alone. Nobody is going to join you. It's a lesson I saw there as I ran. Build comfort with solitude. I'm going to repeat that. Be comfortable in solitude. You shouldn't always be looking for people to be there with you. Life is not always a party. There are days when you're all alone because no one understands or appreciates what you're going through. Why would they be there with you? You'll be there alone. You could be watching this video alone on a hospital bed. How many people are going to join you on a hospital bed? But you must go it alone. When you come out, there will be others joining you. So there are times when I'll be running and I get into a certain part and then guess what? I'm all alone. Then there's one person ahead of me. And then sometimes you get there, you're all alone. There's nobody. It is life. Such is life. What is the lesson there? Learn to live in solitude. Be comfortable in solitude. But at the same time, appreciate community when it comes. That's key. Learn to be comfortable in solitude. However, appreciate community when it comes. But there are going to be those times. So, for example, there was this time I was still on my running. I was all alone because as always, the road was quiet and I'm all alone running. I think 1 or 2 taxis passed by me and then I'm running. And then I got to a place where I need to break the jog and go into brisk walking because it's all part of my exercise regime. And then just when I broke into brisk walking, and then I saw 2 guys coming from behind me, right? And they were jogging. They passed me 10, and then it was somebody I knew. It's like, hey, Charlie, my guy, what's up? We go together. I'm like, nah, you go, man. We come. Community, he just joined me. But he doesn't know I have done the lonely all along to where I got to. And it was part of my regime. If where I met him, I was to jog, I would have gone with him. Appreciate community when community comes. However, learn to be comfortable in solitude. The problem with so many of us is that we are not comfortable in solitude. So we are always looking for people. We need community around us. That is why some people become depressed if they post something and nobody comments. Are you depressed? They post something and nobody comments. They wear something that they expect people to say, you're looking good, nobody said anything. They become depressed. Life taught me a lesson. I mean, in my early morning jog is that there are times when, hey, you got to go alone. When community comes, appreciate community, but you got to go alone. Lesson 1. Next lesson that life teaches me or taught me, if I could say that, on my morning runs. One time, I got to a place, it was like the last lap of my morning exercise regime. And when I got there, I looked and and the last lap means that I have about a quarter of an hour to go, like 15 minutes to go to 6 a.m. So let's say 5:45 thereabout. And I look on the road and it was interesting. Different people exercising differently. And for once I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. Everyone exercises differently. Everyone lives differently. There were those that were jogging. There was this guy who had this. In fact, he comes to mind even as I'm talking. He's looking like if it's a footballer, I won't be surprised because he has the footballers. Footballers have a way of jogging, and it's making me feel bad, like he's healthier than I am. Yeah, but whatever. I don't know his age, so yeah, probably I'm way older than him. But the guy is jogging, looking good in his strides and all that. Then there is a woman. There was a woman that I passed by, and she was actually walking briskly, but she was swinging her arms like wide, swinging her arms wide. And when I passed by her, I realized she was praying. She was praying as she was swinging her arms wide. She had this pink whatever, and yeah, she was praying. Then I saw an old man, and I'm not. This is real. Like, this is not a made up story. And I saw this old guy. I know him. I mean, he's a cobbler in my community, gray haired and all that. And he was just walking. He was walking. He wasn't jogging. He wasn't throwing his arms. He wasn't praying. He was just walking. But I also realized that he was just in normal tracksuit, if I could say, with a polo shirt, and he was in his trainers. But this other guy who I said must be a footballer, was well attired. He had all this water here and something on his hand, and like everybody was minding their own business. Such is life. Such is life. We live differently. We could be coming from the same house, but we live different. We could be twins, but we live differently. What is the lesson there? There is a danger in comparison and copying others. There is a danger. Can you imagine if I saw the lady swinging her arms and praying, and I decided that, okay, let me copy her. Then I also start swinging my arms and pray. Who sent me to do that? Who asked me to do that? Probably it's not helping me in any way. She has been advised by a doctor to swing her arms that way. I don't know. Why would I be copying her? Unfair comparison. You shouldn't do that. There is always a danger. And there is something I learned early, right after university. It was one of the earliest lessons I learned from the amazing Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar tells a story I'm going to share with you. He tells a story about a time when his vehicle got stuck in snow in a certain community. He took a bend, and then the tires got stuck in the snow, and he couldn't bring it out. And he said the more he tried, the deeper the tires sunk in the snow. So he had to call a tow truck. It's a story that Zig Ziglar tells. Try getting that story. He has to call a tow truck, so he calls a tow truck. Zig Ziglar said the young man that came out of the tow truck could be his son. Young man, young guy. And he said the first thing that came to mind is he's been driving for years. How dare the tow truck send this guy, right? Why? It isn't that the guy in the tow truck was young. That wasn't the problem. But this is it. Zig Ziglar said when the boy parked the tow truck, he looked at the car and asked Zig Ziglar for the keys. And it's like, you don't need the keys. Just, tie whatever you have to tie and tow my car out of the ditch. He said, the guy said, oh. And he said, in his mind, it was like, okay, I'm going to give this guy the key. If he's unable to do what I think he wants to do, the way I'll lambast him and his tow truck company. Anyway, so Zig Ziglar gave the key. He said the guy could not have been, he couldn't have been more than a high school dropout by his looks and everything, the way he was talking. This is not somebody who's gone to, he didn't have a degree. Zig Ziglar gave the keys to the chap. Chap sits in the car, turns the steering wheel a certain angle, sparks the car, and brings the car out of the ditch. No need for a tow truck. Zig Ziglar said it was so simple that when the boy was bringing the key back to him, Zig Ziglar, the boy couldn't even look in the old man's face. Like, he was shy for the old man, like, this thing to you call a tow truck. As if the boy was saying, this small thing to you call a whole tow truck, and I had to come here. He said the boy brought the car out just like that. So Zig Ziglar said the thing was so embarrassing, at the same time so interesting, that he said, no, he's going to talk to the boy. So he called the boy back and said, how come you're able to do something I'd be struggling to do for hours? And he said the boy told him that he actually lives in a neighborhood, and that this very area of the road, a lot of people get stuck in it. And since he was a kid, he's been doing this for years. People get stuck, he brings them out. People get stuck, he brings them out. So it's normal for him. Then Zig Ziglar, the great Zig Ziglar, he said it taught him a lesson. That's a lesson I want to share with you. And that's a lesson life teaches me anytime I go running. What is the lesson? Unfair comparison can make you depressed. The guy has been driving cars out of the ditch for years. He didn't need to have a university degree to do that. Experience alone was enough. Can you imagine comparing yourself to him? See, why can't I drive this? Oh my goodness, why didn't I know how to drive this? Oh no, why didn't I? No, he's had experience you don't have. You don't know why somebody is doing something. Why would you compare yourself to the person and get depressed? Oh, I was in school with that person and I'm looking at what they are posting on social media. Oh, it seems like they are making it. I'm being left behind. He says, who? Do you know what happened after school? When you left school, do you know what happened to them? Do you know the opportunities that came their way? Do you know who they knew? Who opened the door for them? Why are you comparing yourself unfairly to others? And because of that, and you see, it's one thing to compare yourself to others, and it's one thing to then begin to look to do what they're doing. So because when I got there, the guy, can you imagine that guy who just passed by me this morning that I'm still thinking, looking all sporty. I like the way the guy was jogging. Reminds me of some footballer that has been brought in the second half to come and change the game. His confidence running by me. Jog, jog, jog. That time I had done like 45 minutes and I'm already tired and this guy is going jog, jog. Can you imagine if I say, okay, why is he jogging? I'm going to jog behind. The guy could break my heart. I mean, he could, why? Because probably he just started jogging 2 minutes ago. And I've been doing it for 45 minutes. So I wasn't going to go with him, That's life. Each and every one of us is living a different life, just as everyone exercises differently, based on what you've gone through. If your doctor says, you know what, you're recovering from a knee injury, so just take slow walks, so that the knee gets used. Slow walks. And you see me jogging and you begin to jog, you're going to aggravate the injury. So what you've gone through is determining the kind of life you're living. What you've gone through. You don't start jogging because you saw the guy. You don't do that. So why would you do that in life? Why would you do that in life and see someone making it and get worried? No. You need to find your authentic approach to life and work. An approach that works for you. Not for us, for you. For you. Something that might not make sense to us, but it makes absolute sense to you. Find your authentic approach to life and work. Make sure that at every point in time, what you're doing works for you. It works for you. It's you and your God, like I love to say. You and your God. Try as much as possible to desist from comparing with others, and not only just comparing. Yes, there are times when you compare because you want to gauge where you are, but comparing and copying is my problem. Comparing and copying, right? Know your unique approach. Know what you can do and no one else can. Know where you're coming from. Don't go compare yourself to others. Oh, they bought a car, I'm going to buy a car. Says who? Says who? If the guy hasn't got bills to pay, he hasn't got rent bills to pay. So because he hasn't got rent bills to pay, he could use his money to buy a car. Why are you competing with him on car? You have rent bills to pay. Unfair comparisons. In the morning jog, I see them and I tell myself, such is life. That's lesson 2. I'm not done yet. Lesson 3. What is lesson 3? In my community where I do my early morning jogging, it is not a flat surface. The terrain is such that from my gate to the main road is flat. From the main road for about 6 minutes is flat. After 6 minutes, it goes a bit hilly, but not too much. Just goes up, and then by the 9th minute, it drops. Then it goes flat all the way to a certain junction, then I turn right, then it starts going up. It starts going up, right? It goes up for another few minutes, then it flattens out like a plateau, sort of. So there is this undulating surface. And then, why am I taking my time to give you an idea of the terrain? I'm going to come to that. So I'll do a bit of light slope. Then I get to a certain junction, and then I turn left. When I turn left, it goes deep down for like a minute or two. Then when you lift your head, there is a hill you must climb. That is, anytime I finish that hill, I know I'm done for the day. Because that hill can take, it almost tears you up. Go. Then I get to the top of the hill. Then I take a break. Then I exercise down, get to the bottom of the hill. Then I turn right. When I turn right, there's a sharp right. That right gives me another hill. And then I've gone up that hill as well. Then when I end on top of that hill, I know I'm done. From then I'm walking and coming back home. Now, hills, valleys, sharp turns, smooth stretches, flat surfaces. What is that teaching me? Life's terrain is never flat. Neither is life's terrain all uphill or all downhill. Life is made up of uphill and downhills and sharp curves and smooth curves and smooth stretches and all of that. Meaning that wherever you find yourself in life now, today, it's not going to be permanent. So long as you keep moving, it's either going to go downhill or uphill or smooth stretch or sharp curves and sharp bends and turns here and all that. You must prepare for life's terrain. No condition is permanent, we are told. So, what is the lesson? If you are actually in the point of your life where you are going uphill, know that it won't last always. Oh, it won't last always. You might even plateau for years and be up there. One day, you might, if one day, you might either come down or you might actually go even higher. That's life. There are times when, the people who need this lesson a lot, politicians. Term of office, 4 years. In my part of the world, 4 years. Oh, you see a politician driving a big vehicle and having all the largesse of office and all the trappings of the office and all that. Enjoying as much as the person can. Then in 4 years' time, you see the same person. He's off that four-wheeler. He has a small saloon car or maybe even walking. The same person that will pass by the neighborhood with sirens and people are shouting, honorable. That same person passes. Yeah, we won't stop calling you honorable, but we don't mean it, right? It's just a name we're calling you. Prepare for life's terrains. But that also means that you need to prepare for the uphill battles. Think about it. The uphill battles. Oh my goodness. Anytime I'm going for my jogging and I'm about to climb that hill, I'm like, goodness, let me just finish it. For some reason, I've just noticed that there are these two women I always see coming down. I never see them go up. And anytime I get to the top, I see them coming and it's like I'm struggling, I'm about to end, and I'm saying in my mind, I hope they are not laughing at me or something, but they are always enjoying themselves going downhill and everything is smooth sailing whilst I'm going up. So prepare for the uphill battles that are ahead of you. However, you must also maximize the downhill opportunities. Use it to gather momentum, use it to build momentum and all that. And then also, when the road becomes flat, because you don't know when it's going to go up again or it's going to go to this direction or go this direction, you should always ensure that you're anticipating. anticipating ahead of time. Anticipating ahead of time, right? So that it becomes an insurance for you against the bend that is coming. There is this particular bend in my morning run. I see a lot of tipper trucks with sand coming into that place. And if you are not careful and you're not too careful, they could run into your space, right? So when I get there, I consciously ensure that I am at the outer edges of the road so that I can do a smooth turn so as not to get myself trapped in front of an oncoming vehicle. This is me anticipating ahead of time, right? Proverbs 24 verse 10. Proverbs 24 verse 10 says that if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. If you fail in the day of adversity, your strength is small. So you should anticipate that there are times, that adversity will come. Prepare for them that you're going to. What I do is when I know I'm about to hit that hill, that uphill battle I'm about to go through, where my body is telling me stop, my heart is saying I can't take it anymore, my brain is go like stop. I prepare myself so that when I start, I go with a certain step, I go with it, and I increase as I go, and I know the last 15 meters I'm going to struggle and all that. I do that. It is very, very important that you plan for it. There's another scripture I love so much. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 14. I'm going to give you the New Living Translation. Enjoy prosperity whilst you can. But when hard times strike, realize that both come from God. I'm sorry, but I love the New Living Translation. No, let me tell you why. Let's listen to the King James. In the day of prosperity, be joyful, but in the day of adversity, consider. God also has set the one over against the other to the end that man should find nothing after him. That's what it's the meaning doesn't come out like New Living Translation. Now let's go to New Living Translation. Enjoy prosperity while you can. But when hard times strike, realize that both come from God. Remember that nothing is certain in this life. Be ready for the uphill battles. Maximize opportunities when things are going smoothly. But life itself is an unpredictable journey. And that's the beauty of it. So every morning when I get out of my house and I'm about to go for my normal run, I ask myself, what is it going to be like today? Do I have the energy to climb that hill and finish it? And when I'm done and I get to the bottom of that hill, can I climb the other hill? Because it's part of my routine. And when I'm going, what steps should I take? Should I go faster? Should I slow down a little? Life is unpredictable. Very unpredictable. What's your early morning run? Your practice that brings clarity. What is that thing that you do that makes you think and think better? For me, it's my early morning run. It teaches me a lot about life, about people, about the things we should do, about the things we shouldn't do, about people and what they are doing with their lives, and the fact that you mind your own business. You don't go copying wrongly. You don't go doing somebody's exercise because the person is doing it. You don't go buying something because somebody bought it. Life itself will bring you challenges. Sometimes it's an uphill battle to get to the top. And when you get there, you feel so satisfied. Anyway, that's me. My thoughts at dawn when all you are asleep. When everyone is asleep and life is yet to wake up, life actually would have woken me up already and taught me these lessons. My name is Jerry Helm, and this is still fruitful. If you've enjoyed this one, there are many more on the channel. You like, you share, you subscribe, you comment. I love to hear your comments. Have a good one. See you in the next video. That's